Welcome to Larry's Library. This week, I finally got to read Book 3 of Brubaker and Phillips' Reckless series. And like the other two books, this time I had Elmo, my cousin Elmo, stop by the library and we discussed what we thought about this great book. Spoiler, this great book. But before we get to that part with Elmo, let me give you a little bit of an overview of what you get with this book. It's standard size. Reportedly, that's the way Brubaker and Phillips want it. So, I mean, I'd rather it be bigger. But it is a nice little hardcover. I can't really complain much about the build on it. The only thing I could possibly complain about, and I mentioned this before, is the sort of mousetrap effect that this sort of binding has. You know, because you have a relatively thin volume. It is 144 pages, by the way. So, some people call that a mousetrap effect, where you're trying to have it open and read, and it wants to close up on you. Now, I have stretched this book before I read it, and then I've read it once, and I flipped through it a lot in the video with Elmo, you'll see. So it is got a minimal amount of mousetrapping going on here. So it's not too bad in that respect. I mean, you know. But either way, it's a very minor quibble, you know. So, yeah, like I said, it's 144 pages. Nice little standard size hardcover. The retail on it is $24.99. But, you know, I'm going to give you the standard chomp warning. Don't be a chomp. And if you can, if you live in a place that they serve, you want to go to an online retailer, a good one like InStockTrades.com, where I got this for $14.49. And as of the time of this shooting, and I'm about 3 to 4 weeks ahead on these videos, it is still in stock at that price, $14.49. So get it there if you can, if you want to own a physical copy. Now, this came out in 2021, but I didn't get around to reading it till now. So there you go. The creators on it, as I said, this is Ed Brubaker. In my view, one of the greatest comic book writers currently working on planet Earth. Can't vouch for the other planets. But the art is by Sean Phillips, his longtime creative partner, and it's great. And the colors are done by Jacob Phillips, and they're also quite fabulous. You have this golden hue that's used throughout it, and it really evokes what we've come to think of when we think about that California sun. And so this is a sun-drenched tale, and so the colors are complementary to that. They're golden hues throughout. And it really makes you think of, you know, a bright sunny day and, you know, what that does when you're trying to see, you know. You almost want to wear sunglasses when you read this one. So yeah, the contents on it, because this is an OGN, an original graphic novel, doesn't collect anything. This came out in whole as this. And I love that because you get a more complete story. You don't have that disjointed feeling that you often get when a comic book is collected into a collected edition and it's comprised of, you know, 12 or more issues. You know, you don't have quite that feeling. Now, there are chapter breaks, but they're done really nicely, and you don't have a disjointed feeling. It works great as an OGN, and that's how they wrote and drew it. And it's great. Yeah. So, like I said, it's Reckless Book 3. At the time of this shooting, as far as we know, there are 5. There's 5 already printed. I have all 5, but I've only read these first 3. And this primarily is Anna's story. You know, rather than being all about a case, I mean, there is a case involved, and it's a good one, but it's more about Anna's story. We finally get to see the background on Anna, his projectionist, his assistant, and we learn, he finally admits it, Ethan's best friend. And that was a great touch. So this book is a little bit of a departure because it's more of a personal story and more of a character-driven thing rather than plot, although there is a good plot here too. So now, before I rehash all that I already discussed with Elmo, so it's hard for me to hold it back here, but let's just take a look at that recording, which I did yesterday when Elmo came by the library. So take a look at that now, and then we'll come back for my conclusion. We're back with my cousin Elmo. Stopped by the library again because we just read Destroy All Monsters which is
Is that the one we're supposed to read? I read The Ghost and... No, I just messed with you.
he had me. This is what, book 3? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, book 3 of the Reckless series. The only thing I don't like about this cover, and I actually like the cover, it's awesome. He's got a, looks to me like a 586. 586? Nobody cares but us, but
No.
he's got a cool Magnum revolver there. He's aiming at someone off camera in this shot, and I'll put a big one here. But we don't get to see him do that in the story.
No.
Damn it. But otherwise, it's fantastic. It's another great painted cover by Sean Phillips. And we've got Anna on the cover because this story is all about Anna, finally.
Yes.
Finally, we get to see her origin, the whole 9 yards. Man, I loved it. You know, there's no spoiler here that I loved it.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I think I might have liked it better than the second one. Maybe.
Yeah. Here's what I don't understand. These should be TV shows.
Yeah.
I don't know who we'd get to play them, but like...
that could be an episode. We'll cast it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's think about it.
Tom Selleck did the Jesse Stone series on CBS 10 years ago. But they were after books, right?
Yeah.
The Jesse...
Had you read any of those books?
Not until I saw the show.
Okay.
But I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And I read these, and the whole time I'm thinking, this should be a made-for-TV show. Or a made-for Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah. Something, not commercial TV.
No.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And I tell you, probably by the halfway point, I was afraid, oh my God, they're going to kill her off. Mm-hmm. They're giving us all this background. We're finally getting to know Anna better and more about her. And we're getting her origin and why she had the love for that theater. I mean, we get to find out all that.
Yes.
Which I thought was awesome.
I did too.
I loved that so much. So I had this fear, oh my God, they're going to kill her off. They are setting this up to kill her off. And then they didn't, and I was very happy that they did not.
Yeah, I thought they did all the way up to about the last several pages of the book.
I
was mad as hell.
They're killing her.
Yeah.
Brubaker is killing her off, and then they didn't, and I was very happy that they did not. And I did like the one bit, too, where he's narrating the whole thing.
Well,
let's hold that. I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
To the very last page.
No. Well, okay. Maybe.
We'll talk about that.
Okay. I'll hold on.
But yeah, let's more go in sequence. Maybe, I don't know. But at one point, of course, Ethan is, you need to...
No, I just need
go
to
ahead.
try. So, I would fire any idiot that would have their ringer on.
Mine's on, but I hardly ever get a call, so...
Well, I'm in demand.
Oh, I know. This guy...
Somebody needs to be moved or needs money or something.
Yeah, and all the jobs. And
it's going to be something. It's something.
I'm more of a bum, so, I work, but I don't work 3 jobs or have all of these people...
Bro, that's because we keep the universe in balance.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah. If you could retire, I'd have to
do the minimum. I can't.
I thank God you don't retire, because then I'd have to pick up a 4th job, because if not,
it's
then
possible.
Earth would spin off its axis and then we'd all be dead.
It's entirely possible. But so Ethan's narrating this, and I guess he narrated all of them so far, right? It's first person narration throughout, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's talking about his assistant. And eventually he calls her his best friend.
Yes.
And I thought that was awesome. Talking about Anna. And he says, she's my purple-haired projectionist / assistant. And then he goes, but sometimes it's blue and sometimes it's green.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was great. And we find out a lot more about their relationship, too.
Yes.
Because that was always kind of a little bit of a question mark. Exactly. I didn't really think they were together, but I wasn't sure. This pretty much lets you know that it's like a older, very protective big brother.
Yes, that's how I took it. That's how I took
Anna. And I finally got her name down. So
I see that. And the thing, what I didn't realize is that I knew he was an old man looking back.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how old of a man he was.
In relation to her?
No, in relation to when these books were written.
Yeah.
Until I got to the end of the book.
Yeah, we get to the end. We get to see the back of current day. I assume current day. Ethan.
Yes. Yes.
You get to see the back of his head.
About 2019-ish to 2022.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he is the narrator, and it looks like he's probably writing this, right? So
Yes.
he's writing this book. I
He
think it's
is.
what we finally get revealed at the end of the book. But I don't think this is too much of a giveaway because he is narrating the whole series, so
Right.
I don't think it'll ruin it for anyone to.
And there's
to
only
find
5,
that out.
right? Because he said something at the end of it that maybe
Yeah.
we can talk about, maybe we can't talk about without doing too many spoilers.
Well,
Because he said something, and I'm kind of going to be sad in the next, because there's only 2 left, and it's going to make me
Yeah.
sad.
I'll just read it and I'll put this page.
Oh,
up here.
okay.
So yeah. So this discussion is going to have some spoilers. So
Yeah.
She was happy there talking about the movie theater because he gives it to her.
Right.
He signs it over to her, which is awesome.
Yes.
For the rest of her life, which wasn't as long as it should have been. And then that's when you see, which I'll put a scan here. This is the last page of the book. We're jumping right to the last page. But he's hunkered over a typewriter, a mechanical typewriter.
Right.
And he says, but that's a story for another time because I'm not ready to tell it yet. And to the right of this desk, you'll see in the scan here, he's got a stack of typed pages, which presumably is all these books we're reading,
Right.
manuscripts. So yeah, I'm wondering what year it is supposed to be
Well,
because
if
he is using a typewriter.
But if you go not to the last page, but a couple of pages before then, or maybe just...
He's got a cell phone.
Well, not only that, right here.
They all
See
have
that
masks on.
They all got masks on. That's what kind of blew me away.
Yeah, I'll throw that up here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all wearing masks. So that
Be
puts us-
about 2019-ish.
if this is COVID times, and
Well, it has to be.
yeah, and
But it
Yeah.
is California. Somebody could be
and
making a fashion
he's an older
statement.
guy, you know.
Right.
So
Well, that's
he
1980.
would be older than us
He'd be in his 80s.
by that time.
Close enough. Yeah.
So
So
that
that's
may-
1988. That's 30-something years. And he's already 30-something years old. So he's in his 70s, mid to late 70s.
By the time he's writing this book,
Yes. Yes.
he's done the math. That's good.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, because my journey's about to the end at my age. So start thinking.
I think about it more than I should, and I'm trying not to. you know.
Right.
I mean, it sucks. So don't get old.
Right. Or don't think about being old.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the villain in this?
Oh man, I thought it was cool. I
Yeah.
thought it was very cool. But I will say I didn't care for the artwork as much in this one.
It's funny you say that because to me, I think I finally made peace with this new sketchier sort of
That's what it
streamlined
is.
version of Sean Phillips' art, and I think he really started that with book 1, and it may have gotten a little looser. That may be what you're picking up on,
Well, yeah.
but I still love it, and I've actually grown to accept it and be okay with it because I was thinking of I was used to the more detailed Sean Phillips.
right.
From other works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I always point back there like y'all can see that, and it's probably not in frame, and especially with this lens because there's probably a little blur back there, and that's on purpose. That's not a
Part of this hillbilly operation.
right. That's actually a good thing. But anyway, yeah, I liked it a lot, and when the movie theater was on fire, boy, that was really something. You know,
Oh, it scared me.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
scared the
I
shit out of
thought
me.
I thought that was.
I
the
thought it
end.
was all gone. I thought it was burned to the ground, and she's going to die in the fire. That was what I thought. Is Anna's gone, and that didn't happen. So that was cool. Now, do you think that her painting the A on the door was that anarchy, or did it stand for Anna, or was it both? Because it's kind of the anarchy symbol, right?
It
It's
is
got the A
anarchy.
with the circle around it.
Yes, that's.
She kept painting on the
well,
doors to the.
well,
I guess it's both. I mean, she's
well,
a
it wasn't for
punker.
Anna. It was for
Anarchy.
anarchy because she was a street kid,
Yeah, Anna.
and that's what that was.
And she's into punk and stuff. So
Right, 'cause
that
I
totally
think-
makes
I
sense.
think she talks about,
Yeah,
it goes into.
her,
I'm not going to go, but it talks about what that building meant to her, and that it was on. Now it's owned by somebody else, and she don't know who, and
right.
it messes with her mind a little bit. So she
Putting the anarchy symbol on her all the
yes,
time. Yeah.
yes,
And then after she starts working for him, which happened in the previous books, actually they never showed the beginning.
right,
He came in after, and now we're getting the backstory, of all this. He just left it on there. He finally stopped because it shows him cleaning that A off
right,
over and over and over, and then he finally just says,
yeah. I'll just
leave it. Until she more or less quits
Yes,
at some point here.
moves on with her life.
Yeah, and then he finally takes it off for the last time. I hate to tell the whole story when I'm talking about this, but I don't know any other way to go into it, because it's so good and it's so touching, really. And I got to say, when she finally left him and left the business, it just about made me cry. I teared up just a little bit. Did you?
Yes. Well, and it's because I think that his realization of what she actually meant to him.
Right, because he just tried to distance himself like it was just no big deal, and
Right,
and
because
that didn't
since it
actually
is
pan out.
well, since his accident and all that stuff,
Yeah,
he has no
his
real
emotions are
emotional
kind of
attachments
suppressed.
to it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So, what did you think of the twist she unraveled with the guy's identity, the
I
bad
thought
guy?
yes, I thought that was cool. The twist at the end, at the very end, where it shows him being an old man, I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
The way they
very
make you
unexpected. I didn't see it coming.
Well,
I
I
didn't
thought-
think Brubaker was going to let us
no,
have that.
no, I didn't either.
Especially when we know there's more books after this.
Right. And then I spent the last, while I'm on that riding board trying to cut 13 acres on a 42-inch cut more because I work for a cheap-ass state, I'm sitting there thinking, man, is it like he got a sixth book out there that he's thinking about, or are we going to find something that I ain't going to like in the next two books?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, at least I haven't read it anywhere, and I've looked a little bit, but I haven't dug hard.
Right.
I don't know if they're planning on doing any books beyond did we determine, is it 5 or 6?
Yes, I think so. Well
5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them, but not in view.
Right.
So yeah, there's either 5 or 6 that's already been printed,
was
and I
5.
don't know if he's planning on doing any more or not, because I know they have went on and done some other things. What did I say it was called? Night something
Right.
has already been out. I have it, but I think we're going to hold off reading that till we get through all these.
Yes.
So I don't know if they're going to revisit Reckless or if it ends. Now, a lot of you watching this probably have already read all of them, so you probably know the answer to that, but I don't. So maybe don't tell me in the comments. Let's just wait, because I haven't looked up any reviews because
I haven't
I
either.
kind of don't want to be spoiled. I know everybody.
Oh
loves
yeah,
it,
but we spoil that. We put
but
spoilers out
people
there
know
later.
going in probably that.
Well, that's
it's going to
true.
be, and
That's true.
I'll put a little thing at the beginning. I'll give a warning for that, but
Well, I haven't read any of them, so.
yeah. Well, till now.
Till now, right? I ain't read the last two. I don't know if you read them. You said you got all of them.
No, I haven't read. No, I'm waiting and reading these with you.
Oh, got you.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you now. How much did you hate Dimitri? And did you hate him immediately, or did it take a little bit?
Dude, I thought he was a pompous ass.
I just thought he was a douchebag. Just
Well-
right away. I mean, the guy's talking during the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's people that do that, especially sitting on your couch. But here, you're in the girls' movie theater.
Right.
She didn't own it at that point, but she may as well have, because she had free reign there, It's out of business music. And she had a private screening. She's showing her douchebag boyfriend these films that mean so much to her.
Right.
And he's just
Yep,
talking
yep,
during
exactly.
these films that are obviously important to her.
That should have been red flag number 1.
Yeah. Well, and Ethan caught it.
Right.
But he's in this role as this very overly, maybe not overly, but protective older brother type
Yes.
dynamic. And he hated him right away. But that just made her even,
Yeah, I think that's what probably drove her to him even more. Just
Yeah.
because, okay, I get it. Yeah. Now I'm going to sleep with him. Thank you very much. I wasn't going to, but now. You just pushed me in that direction.
Yeah, yeah. So this was kind of a departure, wasn't it? I mean, it was a straightforward. It was more about him and her specifically, than it was these capers and these cases and whatnot. But
I think the caper was the secondary story.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did like how they took their time with this, and it's something you couldn't do in a regular comic book. You just couldn't do it.
What's that?
They had a 6-month gap between, after they thought this case was over.
Oh, right, and they come back to it, yeah.
Yeah, and then he just stops taking cases again, and he's smoking pot and surfing every day, and she starts to move on with her life and moves away even, and then nothing really happens. He just lives off the money from the last gig,
right,
until that gig comes back to bite him in the ass.
Yes,
more or less.
Well, you make it sound like she moved way far away, but I mean, she kind of just moved across the 405.
Well, funny you mentioned that, because this reminds me so much, and I know I showed you some Californian videos before, but if anybody out there has seen the Californian series on SNL, there's a page in here. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll put a scan up for sure. There's a full page where he describes to the reader why he doesn't want her to move on the other side of Los Angeles. And, me and Elmo, we're from a relatively small town, in Indiana. Well, you wasn't born here, but you...
No, I was raised in God's country, across the river in Kentucky.
But you might as well say
they can tell that by the way I talk.
Pretty close to the same thing.
Right.
Here we go. Here's the page.
Oh, yeah.
And this whole page where he's describing, it reminded me of those scenes in the Californian. And maybe I'll risk a copyright strike, and I'll put a little blurb up here.
Get back on San Vicente, take it to the 10, then switch over to the 405 North and let it dump you out into Mulholland where you belong.
But in that series of skits on Saturday Night Live, there's always somebody, usually more than one of the characters, start giving directions. And it usually involves the 405. And they say, well, you take this road and take this road and you go over here and you say, oh, but it's going to take hours. And so, we're not used to, I mean, Elmo, you travel, so maybe you have ran into shit like that. But I am totally not used to this horrific traffic that you can see on display here.
Going through Chicago, going through Houston during the pandemic, those guys did not know there was a pandemic going on in Houston.
Yeah, but he's talking about, but you have to understand in Los Angeles, moving from the west side to the east side means moving across the 405, which in theory is a freeway, but in practice is more like an endless traffic jam. Even getting within a block of it could add an hour to your drive most of the time. So, she's talking about moving on what we would call the other side of town.
Right.
But this is Los Angeles, so it's huge, and the traffic is horrible, and you got to go on the other side of 405, which probably means a lot more to people that live in California than it would to me. I mean, I'm knowing about it from a skit on SNL and this page.
Right.
But that's all.
Yeah. When you showed me those skits, that's all I could think of was that section right there.
Yeah. Yeah. But one of my viewers and kind of a YouTube buddy of mine is Garage Geek, and he lives in Los Angeles. Pretty sure. He definitely California. I think he lives in LA. So he'll probably get a kick out of this. I don't know if he's read this or not yet, but yeah. I'll have to. Well, I'll ask you right out, Garage Geek, because I know you're probably going to watch this at some point. Do you love the Californian skits, or does it piss you off? I mean, is it accurate at all? He'll have something to say about that. But yeah, so this is foreign to me, that in one city you could have just a horrific. I mean, it looks like spaghetti. Look at that.
Oh, I know.
The shot. It looks like...
Well, I have found because, I mean, I'll fly, but I would prefer to drive. If it's within 12 or 4,
across the 405,
even across. Well, I don't know. But if that's accurate, probably not. But if I go to Chicago or if I go to Texas or Atlanta or anything like that, I just soon drive because I just like to drive, listen to podcasts, books on tape, that kind of thing. But every time I've been through a major city, It's like that. Nashville's been under construction for the last 40 years since I've been driving. They always got something going on in Nashville. And Nashville's not that big compared to these other cities.
Yeah, yeah.
But Chicago was the same way. You hit it certain hours and it's just like bumper to bumper. People reading the newspaper. Sorry, I know that felt it across my face. Reading the newspaper, putting on their makeup, doing whatever else they're doing.
Yeah.
But it just
But this
blows
is
my
him
mind.
talking about how this is tearing him apart, that she's going to go on the other side of the 405, which in this case is basically he's figuring he's not going to see her anymore.
Right.
Because, and it goes through here, I think probably on the same page, where if your friend or your ex or whatever goes on the other side of that distance, it pretty much means you're probably not going to see him anymore. Because
Correct.
you're not going to just meet for lunch.
Right.
When you've got a potentially 2 hour traffic jam
Just to go have lunch.
yeah, it's crazy. But on the other hand, the other level of this is, like you said before, he's starting to admit to himself how much she meant to him, how much he cared about her, even though his emotions are suppressed, partially because of being blown up
Right.
back in the 60s. But, yeah. So, yeah, and I love the Anna character before this, and this just made me like her more,
Right, and I'm glad we got some backstory on her, and that makes me looking forward to the next 1 and 2.
Yep.
Books 4 and 5.
Great stuff. So if I did the math right, I think he's about 8 years older than her. Isn't that what you figured out? About 7 to 8 years older than her.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think at this time, during the most events of this, he's supposed to be 37.
Yes.
And didn't she say she's almost 30, or did she say she is 30?
30. I think she
She
just
said
said
she was 30. So he's 7 to 8 years older, something like that. Did you catch in this page here that it's Rear Window he's watching?
Yes.
He starts watching movies without her because she's moved in with Dimitri on the other side.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the one thing I thought was pretty cool, too, is how they'll throw in current references and they'll change the name of what it is. Like building of the Mega Center. They
Oh,
call
the
it, they call
Allmart.
it
The
the
Allmart.
Allmart.
Yeah, instead of Walmart, it's the
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah.
But
That kind of stuff.
But Walmart probably was around a lot. I'm sure it was around years before we ever had one in other parts of the country.
Oh,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because we didn't get it around here until probably, the bigger cities like L.A. probably had it years and years and years before us. I bet.
Oh, you talking about the big
Walmart itself.
super Walmarts? Yeah.
Yeah, or any Walmart.
Oh, we've had Walmart for a long time.
But we didn't have it back in. We didn't have it in the 80s.
Yes, we did.
Sure.
Yes. Yes. I'm a Wally World connoisseur. Yes. Matter of fact, you used to.
I didn't think it was till later, but okay.
Yeah, no. They used to throw like the one on the. You had one. You didn't have like
I avoid
four
Walmarts
in
like
your.
the plague, man.
Right.
I don't want nothing to do with
You
that.
just don't like crowds.
I don't.
It ain't
You're
got
the
nothing
people
to.
person. We have a lot in common, but he's the people person, and I'm like, no.
Right.
I mean, if we go shopping somewhere together, or we go out somewhere together. I get him to talk to people or to ask the person something because I don't,
Hey, I'm interested in that. Go find out for me.
Yeah, he didn't have a problem with it. He'll yell it across the room.
Yes.
Hey. All right. So, what else did you find notable about this?
That's pretty much it. I thought their interaction was a better story
Yeah.
than the
But
main story.
It broke my heart when she left the business,
Yes.
and it broke my heart when the movie theater got attacked and set on fire. That whole thing was bad. But there's a good ending because they rebuild the theater.
Yes.
Yep.
And she's happy.
Yep. And he gives it to her. He signs it over to her.
So she can do her things.
Yep. And it kind of, I think it said that they still worked a few cases together.
Right.
Even after that. But then we get that terrible little note that she doesn't live as long as she should have.
Right. Right.
But
And then I'm wondering if, hopefully, she's just like eating her popcorn, drinking her soda pop, and watching her favorite movie, and just kind of takes a nap in the seat and just.
Yeah. But we know Dimitri, the douchebag Dimitri is not involved. So
Correct.
Well, I mean, unless he can't give her up.
Oh, ooh.
Unless he's a villain in I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt that. I did like the final page too. Well, after the final page, we get a little afterword by Ed Brubaker where he talks about his inspirations for this and about the L.A. corridor that was was a wasteland of crime and drugs and stuff for years and years. So that was a real thing, which I had no knowledge of. Did you know about that?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get a little blurb for the next book, which is The Ghost in You.
Because if you ever find out most, what was that, 2021? Yeah, at the end of that. But anyway, you'll find out.
Yeah. 2021 is when he wrote that afterward.
So, I've found that when they get these big major constructions like that, they got to buy the land and the houses. They buy them, they move the people out, and it can still take years before they go in there and tear the buildings down and stuff like that.
So
and then you
derelicts can move in there and gangs take it over and just all that.
Shoot houses and all that stuff.
Yeah. This is another 10 out of 10 for me.
Me too. The only thing that I had going on that really sucked was nothing to do with the book, but it was the way I was reading it on my digital format.
Oh.
Your HD10 kind of sucked, needed to be replaced. So I gave you mine, right? So you watch your thing when you're doing on your little exercise thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I figured, I got the Kindle app on my iPad. That's fine. So I go in there, try to buy it, wouldn't let me buy it on the Kindle app on the iPad. And I'm like, what the hell? So I have to research. So for me to buy it on the Kindle app, for me to buy it, to read it on my Kindle, on my iPad, I have to go into a browser, type in Amazon.com, look it up, buy it,
and
through
then
a web
it'll show up.
Yeah, then it shows up in my app.
But
Jeff Bezos, I'm gonna hunt you down. I'm gonna put a turtleneck on you. I'm gonna take a black marker, put a line on your forehead, on your head right there, and put a sign here that says Richard Cranium, because I don't understand why I can't buy a comic book on my iPad. Why you do this? Why you do this? I don't get it.
I think I know. I think I know the answer. Because
You want to lock me into the whole Amazon experience? Why?
no, this is an Apple problem. Because if you make the purchase on an iOS device, then Apple takes this huge chunk of
that's
it.
right. They do, don't they? 30%.
So if you do it outside the app, Apple can't.
Jeff,
grab
I'm sorry. I got to go hunt down Tim Cook and shave his head and then go through my ritual.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you're right.
But,
You're right. I forgot all about
not
it.
that he's not also a Richard Cranium. It's probably a meeting of.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Amazon don't want to pay 30%. I don't. That's shit. I wouldn't want to pay 30% either.
But this was an easy 10 out of 10.
And it was a 10 out of 10 for me also.
I think we said probably, we gave away the whole ending and most of the plot, so
Yep.
I think our work here is done.
That is true. We might have saved people $16 and some change too, because that's what it is digital. What is that on? Oh, you
Really?
can't.
$16?
Yeah, I can't believe that for $16 for digital.
Yeah, that's high. It's
That's what I thought, too.
$24.99 is the
That's okay.
list, and I probably on InStockTrades.com I probably paid. I don't have it in front of me, but I probably $17.
I could have read it on Hoopla.
Yeah.
But my library card expired or something. It wouldn't.
Oh, so you're
and
gonna
that's
work
the-
that out. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. My daughter, the Comic Slayer, is a huge proponent of Hoopla. She
I
loves it.
am
That's why I
too.
suggested that to you.
Well, no, I got it and I had it. It just wouldn't. And then me on a time crunch. You know me. I wait till the last minute.
Well, I do
And
that
I go,
on purpose
well, I'll
for
just-
these too, because I want to have it fresh in my mind. Because
Right.
55, I don't retain it like I used to, unfortunately.
That
So
is true. I get it.
I would rather. I finished it today. Started last night. Finished it today. So I had it.
Well, I
fresh in
finished
my
mine at lunch as I was eating a big old plate of spaghetti from Fazoli's.
Yep. All right. I think we'll leave it there. This was fun. When we're going to do the next one.
Yes. Oh, we are. We are.
Yep. So probably my next vacation, because that's the only way we can work this out, because we're on 2 different shifts. So, but that'll probably be a couple months from now. I don't know. I got to check my schedule. My producer has all that information, being my wife.
Right.
She keeps track
The
of all
boss.
that. So
The boss.
we will schedule it out at that point. But yeah, thanks for coming by.
Hey, it's
and looking at
always
this
my
again.
pleasure. I enjoy this.
Cool.
Very well.
All right.
Y'all take care now.
Thanks for watching. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed doing it. It's always fun when Elmo comes by. I don't get a lot of visitors at the library. I don't want a lot of them, but I'll take Elmo when I can get him. And I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. As much as I did doing it, you know. So as you've seen, this is 10 out of 10 for me. No reservations, no ifs, ands, or buts. This is 10 out of 10. And that's what Elmo gave it to. He agreed. So this is 10 out of 10 for both of us. If you've been reading Reckless or you're thinking about reading it, now it's time to start. So I would pick this up. I would pick up, might as well get all 5, because you're going to want to read all 5 when you read 1. But yeah, hope you like this. And me and Elmo will return together to do the next book, book 4. Not sure when that'll be. It might not be till the fall. Might not be till November, my next vacation from work, because our schedules conflict badly. He's on weekend shift and I'm on the regular day shift, so can't get together as easily as we could when we were on the same shift. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to do that, and give me a thumbs up if you like this, and please come back for more. I'll see you.